So yeah, man, there's no way to press these bearings out. It's got a little spacer in between, and then right here, you can see right here, there's this little ridge in there that's machined inside there. So when you go to this little ridge right here, you can see the ridge right there. So when you try to press it out this way with both the bearings, the top bearing is pushing against this ridge. So if you try to press it this way, the bottom bearing's pressing against this ridge. So other than welding something onto that outside of that bearing and pushing on whatever it is you welded, there's no way to get those out of there without busting that ridge. That's got to be the dumbest shit I ever seen in my life. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just push all that crap out. Go ahead and machine it a little bit in there to get it all nice and parallel and perpendicular again. And we're just going to put a brass bushing in there. You don't even need these bearings in there because the damn thing only goes this much. It doesn't need a bearing. And a brass bushing that's lubed up, that shit will last forever. I don't understand why the hell they did that. So we're going to put a brass bushing in there. And we're going to see how long that thing lasts. And then I have, let's go over here. Then I have these roller bearings. I have these roller bearings I bought for another motorcycle application. And we're going to put these roller bearings have a lot more surface. We're going to put them in there, and then we're going to put this whole solid piece, instead of all those little bits and pieces like they put through the jack shaft, that there's a bunch of separate pieces. We're just going to put a solid piece that goes right across, all the way across. So this whole centerpiece now will be a solid piece. And there's no way for anything to get jacked up or anything sideways or anything weird in there. It'll all come out in easy. It's got to be the worst engineering I've ever seen. That is insane. The way that swing arm is, that is just nuts. I really just can't even understand why they built it like that. There's easier ways to do it. I mean, if anything, Chinese are great at copying everything. Just go ahead and copy the Kawasaki or a Honda or something, how they do the swing arm. That's kind of what I'm doing here, is I'm basically taking parts from another motorcycle and making this swing arm work like a regular motorcycle.
They were trying to reinvent the wheel.
Well, they sure as hell made it to where you can't maintenance it. Holy cow, man, that's unbelievable. I mean, I'm at a loss. I don't understand why they do that. That has got way more intense manufacturing to do that. You gotta machine that out this way and then machine that out that way to get that little ridge in there, and that's just the dumbest shit I've ever seen. So we're gonna push these bearings out. We're gonna just slightly bore these things out, and then we're gonna push a brass bushing in there, something you can press back out. And then we're, the jack shaft is gonna have a grease zert on it, and that grease zert is gonna push grease all the way through, all the way into the bushing, and it should pop out the side here. So it lubricates all the mating surfaces. It's just the craziest thing, man. I really don't understand who the hell thought that up. That's just insane. These little crappy bearings, I mean, these bearings are taking a beating in the swing arm. These are the bearings that went in here. And, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of time on this bike, and these bearings are already wore out. You can feel them choppy rolling them. Oh, this one's horrible. So these bearings are just getting hammered every time you hit something, the tire hits something. Those little ball bearings are just getting hammered in here. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that crap. Put a brass bushing that's got way more surface area on it. Yeah, the brass bushing will wear out at some point, but after I get this done, I can just press the brass bushing back out and put a new one in. And the way this is right now, you can't even press these in or out without welding onto these bearings. This is insane. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Sur Ron, we have a problem.
Sur Ron, we got a problem again. Back in there and put it all back together, but after this stupid thing showed its ugly head, now I gotta reinvent the wheel over here, So we'll pull these stupid rubber doomafachis out of here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tack weld a little plate onto these, and then I can press that one out from this side, and once that one's pressed out, then I can press the other one out. So that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, we cut this little piece off, a piece of material here, and we're gonna put that right down there in that little hole right there. Then I'm gonna TIG weld that around that, and then we should be able to turn this upside down and press against that surface and get this bearing out. And then once this bearing's out, we can get the other bearing out. If you want to press your bearings out of your swing arm, you got to go through hell to do it. Just the craziest thing I ever seen in my life. Okay. Oh, you're good. I'm done. We welded that little bitty piece in there so that we can turn this thing upside down, jam that thing in there, and press that thing out. That's what we're doing here. Let's see if I'm gonna probably have to make a piece. So I'm gonna have to cut a piece of material off of here real quick. And just press it all the way through. So we're gonna make a little rod to press with. I need to get behind here. I'll go grab that too for you. Now, should be able to push that bearing out at this point. Get that up here like this. Out at this point. Let's see how easy this bearing comes out at this point. Boom. Simple. So all you guys trying to press your bearings out, they make it impossible. There's this little ridge in there, you can't press it out, so you have to weld a little piece inside there. Press this side out first, so you weld that little piece inside there, weld that piece, and then you press it out this way first, and then once this piece is out, then you can press that bearing out, no problem. So yeah, that was quite the crazy way of doing things. I've never seen anybody do a bearing setup like that. That's got to be the most nuttiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Just completely don't understand it, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so for everybody trying to press these bearings out of this swing arm, there is an aluminum ridge inside there. That aluminum ridge is a part of the swing arm, and it makes it damn near impossible to pull that out. And then this little thing here sets in the middle of the bearings with this little surface here and this little raised surface here, so that it'll ride up against this inner race right here. That's what that little inner surface deal here is, and that all fits up in there like that. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and machine that out, and we're gonna put some brass bushings in there because you don't need a bearing in that area. A ball bearing has no surface area, and when you're smashing that swing arm over rocks and all the other shit you ride over, eventually you wear those bearings out. Those bearings that I had in there, they're wore out, and I haven't rode this bike very long. So I mean, I ride it hard. I beat the piss out. I ride it at the skate parks. I jump the shit out of it. I go from here to my buddy's house 30 miles away. And, it's on rough road and dirt roads. It's got washout and stuff like a washboard on it. So it's hard on it, but the swing arm might do 40 degrees maybe of movement. I doubt if it's even that much, and you don't need a bearing for that. If it gets to where that brass bushing becomes a problem, we're just going to go and do like they do on like the KX80 or the KX100 and put a little roller bearing in here and a roller bearing in here so that, it's got more surface area. It's going to last longer. This freaking thing, this is the cyclist thing I've ever done.
And the roller bearings, what's the price difference on the roller bearings right now to regular?
You can go to the Honda shop and buy them. I think they're like $40 for the kit for a swing arm. I went to Motion Industries and bought roller bearings for this application. I ain't putting them in yet. I'm going to do brass bushings first. But I have roller bearings for the jack shaft. We're going to use those for the jack shaft. And then the jack shaft is going to have a little bit of play in here. It's not going to have much play, but it's going to have a little bit of play in here so it can self-align. A lot of the clicking you guys are hearing is from, the chain either riding up on the sprocket, or, it's obviously a bad jack shaft bearing possibly, but I'm going to straight up tell you the jack shaft bearings are ball bearings also, man, and the jack shaft bearings also are junk. They're ball bearings, and it's just, there's so much torque on that thing, you don't want to run a ball bearing, especially a cheap ass Chinese junk ball bearing. They don't make ball bearings with crap. Chinese like to put a lot of lead in their metal.
Why is that?
Well, when they cold form, it's easier on their cold forming tools. And the reason they do it on the cold forming tools is because their cold forming tools suck.